Here's my comparison between the new Insta360 Ace Pro and the GoPro Hero 12 Black. The Hero 12 Black came out in late summer 2023 and the Insta360 Ace Pro in November 23. The Hero 12 has a 1/1.9 inch sensor, while the Ace Pro sensor is much larger at 1/1.3 inch and should therefore perform significantly better in low light. At 154 grams, the Hero 12 is almost 25 grams lighter than the Ace Pro. The trigger button is located on top and the power button on each side. While the Hero 12 only has one compartment for the battery, the memory card and the USB Type-C charging port, it may not sound like much at first, but the Insta360 Ace Pro has two compartments. For longer video recordings and time-lapse videos, you don't have to worry about the battery falling out of the camera. On top, you should always have the right memory card to avoid video dropouts and get the most out of your action cams. You can find my choice in the video description below. The Ace Pro has a magnetic mount on the underside for a quick release system, and the GoPro has had the action mount including a tripod thread since the Hero 8. For me, the magnetic mount makes much more sense, but that's relatively subjective. Despite the 12th generation, GoPro has not managed to install a touch display at the front. Therefore, all the settings have to be made via the main display or the app. Thanks to the 2.4-inch touch display, which you can turn 180 degrees towards you, you have full control over all the settings and can see yourself using the Insta360 Ace Pro. All through, GoPro's menu is very well thought out. It is a bit cluttered in places and drives me crazy at one point. For example, I cannot switch between 50 and 60 frames per second without going into the sub-menu and switching from 50 to 60 Hz. With the Ace Pro, all frame rates are simple next to each other. On the other hand, it has a significantly fewer voice control commands than the GoPro Hero 12. Gesture control is a completely new feature of the Ace Pro. With this function, you can take a video or photo with hand gestures without the need for an app or voice commands. If you want to be particularly creative, you will find numerous presets in the GoPro's time-lapse menu, for example light painting or car lights. One feature many customers were asking for is a pause function. Using the Ace Pro, you can pause a video, save it, and continue to record at a different day or place. The Ace Pro can record videos in 8K and the Hero 12 with a maximum of 5.3K. I use neither 8K nor 5.3K. The maximum frame rate of the GoPro in full resolution is 60 FPS and 24 or 30 for the Insta360 Ace Pro. This was not yet known before the release. As most of us are more likely to record in Full HD or 4K, the two cameras do not differ significantly from each other. 4K with up to 120 frames per second works with both. HDR recordings must be taken at a maximum of 30 frames per second with the Ace Pro and a maximum of 60 frames per second with the GoPro Hero 12. The Hero 12 offers more field of views such as hyperview, superview, wide and linear. The Ace Pro does not have a hyperview and currently there is no max lens mod as with the GoPro. The max lens mod extends the GoPro's field of view and retails at about $100. With the GoPro you can record in 8:7 format, and with the Ace Pro this is called free frame. You can decide later whether you prefer to export a horizontal or vertical clip even in 4K. Thanks to pure video, you can expect significantly better results with the Ace Pro in low light. With pure video, the maximum frame rate is reduced to 30 frames per second. In return, overexposed areas are correctly exposed and the entire image is lighted up. If color grading is important to you, you can record in log with both cameras. On top of this, the Insta360 comes with filters that can be applied directly to your video. So both cameras are great for videos of all kinds. However, the Ace Pro produces much better results in the dark. Using the GoPro, you can take your photos at a resolution of 27 megapixels and with the Insta360 Ace Pro even at 48 megapixels. Many megapixels are not necessarily meaningful when it comes to image quality. Fewer pixels are even better in the dark, but when it comes to details you can get more out of the Ace Pro. Raw recordings are possible with both cameras to edit the photos, for example in Adobe Lightroom. With the Ace Pro you can even shoot at 30 frames per second with a resolution of 12 megapixels. Photo filters can be applied directly on the Ace Pro. The Hero 12 does not have such a function, however both have an HDR function. High dynamic range are 3 shots. using different exposures merged together. With both models you can take time-lapse and hyperlapse recordings without much knowledge. With time-lapse, the camera is usually positioned at a fixed point. You can select an interval and the camera generates a finished time-lapse video over a set period of time. Photos are also possible with both cameras if you want to combine individual photos into a finished video. Hyperlapse recordings are called time warp on the GoPro and time shift on Insta360. The camera records a video and plays it back faster, all without sound and no skipping of frames. During recording you can switch to true speed and record with audio. What bothers me about the Ace Pro is that I have no way of specifying in advance how much the video should be sped up. The Hero 12 offers more options here, all through the speed can be adjusted in post-production. 15x, as set by default, is not always suitable, using Insta360. The finished result is very convincing with both models. Nevertheless, the GoPro Hero 12 offers more presets out of the box, for example car lights and light painting. These are two features I don't use, but they round up the GoPro's package. Insta360 definitely offers the better app. Significantly more AI-based functions, for example to change the background, export file in the background, while you can use other apps, and a nicer interface. I have now tested both cameras for more than 3 weeks at a time. I was able to record for more than 60 minutes at a time in 4K at 50 frames per second with both models. Sometimes the GoPro was rather empty, sometimes the Ace Pro. As I don't usually record for 60 minutes at a time without interruption anyway, the battery performance played a subordinate role for me. The option of using a power bank or permanently supplying the action cams with power via an adapter in order to record for longer, for example for a time lapse or a longer presentation, actually solves the battery issue. Otherwise there are spare batteries if you need them quickly. Or you can use the power bank from this video here to charge the Ace Pro, for example from 0 to 80% within 22 minutes. But there's one more thing. With the GoPro you either have to buy a new door where only the USB Type-C port is open, or you run the risk of the battery falling out, for example because everything is behind one flap. Internal microphone of the Insta360 Ace Pro. There's a bit of background noise since there's a street over there. There's a bit of wind blowing in and I can see myself. The tracking is perfect here in 4K 50 on this camera. Now I connected my Apple AirPods to the Insta360 Ace Pro and let's see if that improves your audio quality if you want to vlog yourself using this nice camera with the tilt display. I went into the camera's menu and I tried to pair this wireless microphone here to the Insta360 Ace Pro, and now we are trying out if we really get an improvement using external microphone like this one here. Here's the internal microphone of my GoPro Hero 12 Black. I'm inside, so there is no wind actually. And I tested already this camera with tons of other microphones. Make sure to check out my channel to see this camera in combination with other external microphones. That's the internal microphone of my Insta360 Ace Pro. There's no wind and I'm filming myself at the moment in 4K 50. Here's my conclusion on both models. Both are great and very handy models for action-packed videos. Sometimes the GoPro has detailed functions that the Ace Pro doesn't have, and sometimes it's the other way around. However, I think that GoPro has to hope for a very loyal customer base in order to sell their models. I'm not talking about the performance at all, but rather a lack of innovation. Starting with the front display, which I can't use to change any settings in the 12th generation, for example via touch, or the outdated action mount without a magnet function. The Ace Pro scores with gesture control, AI support, very good low light performance, and of course the 2.4-inch tilt display for selfie shots, including face tracking, and the option of using a wireless microphone via Bluetooth. AirPods can be used with both models. Operation is much more intuitive with the Ace Pro, and the GoPro offers more fine-tuning with various presets or recording formats. In any case, it is annoying that I have to switch anti-flicker from 50 to 60 Hz in order to use all frame rates. To use external microphones you need an adapter for the Ace Pro and the media mod for $80 for the GoPro. Insta360 offers the simpler and better overall package in my opinion. But now I'm very curious to hear your thoughts. Which of these two will you use or used in the past? You can actively support my channel by buying the camera, memory card and co via the link in the video description. Thank you very much and see you very soon, Daniel.